All right, everybody, what is going on? We are super early today. Yeah, sorry, we're I actually have to apologize. We're so early. Reason being, today I know not usual stream schedule. Tomorrow I'm traveling for Anime NYC. So just based off of that, didn't know exact because I'm trying to do a lot of stuff between basically by tonight, so that tomorrow's schedule is relatively clear. So didn't have the most accurate time for when I'd be ready to stream, but we're doing a little bit early. Yeah, a little bit early. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh, you know what? Actually, here, let me grab Ethernet too. Let me grab Ethernet. Should have done that before stream started. I'll be right back. Be right back, everybody. Should I play a Jimmy Neutron video? You know what? In the meantime, here, why don't I link you guys this? Here, let me give you guys a little link. So, for those of you who don't know, right? For those of you who are not aware, here we go. The shirts are available for basically today. One more day. We're done after this. So if you want your Gears shirt, or if you want the stickers, they're available literally, this is it. It ends after this. So 2 weeks only. Get yours. I'm going to pin the link here for the people. And I'll be right back. All right, there we go. I'll be right back. Thanks, baby. All right. Did everyone grab theirs? You all got your shirts? Hope everybody picked theirs up. As you can see, yeah, we got 2 more weeks. As you can see, we got them in white, black, and then the orange red that I got on right now. So make sure you get yours. Yeah, windows closing. All right. With that being said, because this is not the usual window, we've got a slightly tighter window than normal for streaming. So we're just going to get right into it, which is, I know, not usual for the streams on this channel. Tom, thanks for the 2-man. Dragon attempts to aura farm but fails. Mr. Sweat. Yeah, if we had done this tier list way back, like let's say we'd done this tier list end of pre-time skip, Dragon would be number 1. But now he's dropped several spots. And I'm going to say something a little bit controversial, I guess. No, I don't think it's controversial. I think, I actually think that in One Piece, I don't think there's that many aura farmers. Because I think that Oda always likes making characters look silly at one point or another. So take, for example, like Katakuri, right? Like, Katakuri initially seems like just this stone cold badass, right? And then as it progresses at a certain point, then you see him doing all the donut stuff and everything like that. Like, there's always going to be some sort of a gag that a character runs into. Same with, even Kaido. Like, Kaido, very, very intimidating, serious, like, max aura. For a lot of characters, their max aura is at their introduction. And then after that, then, like, the next time we see him, he's, like, drinking and stuff like that. His dragon form is obviously, that reveal is very impressive, but then, there's a lot more gag stuff that happens with Kaido as the story goes on. I think that's just the way Oda likes to do it. He will introduce a character that is very, very crazy, like intimidating and everything early on. And then as we go on, then we see more of the lighthearted side of them. I'd say actually the reverse. So somebody mentioned Shanks. I think Shanks is the reverse in a sense, in that like Shanks, he's introduced being goofy and kind of silly and everything like that, and he even looks kind of silly when like Higuma gets away with Luffy. But then from then on, Oda kind of establishes him as like having being the definition of an aura farmer basically, and then over the course of the rest of the story, Oda just milks Shanks with like a million different hype aura moments where Shanks doesn't really have to fight that much, but he kind of deals with every conflict by looking badass or whatever, right? So I'd say Shanks kind of goes the reverse train there. I would say right now, I think that Shanks probably he might be number one on this list. But let's see. I don't think there's any like true. I don't think there's too many true aura farmers in One Piece. I feel like this list is too small. This list is too big. We need something right down the middle. We could work with this. What's this list got? This is a bunch of random ass characters. Like, why the fuck is... It's too flashy, too flashy. Shit, I should have picked some shit out beforehand. Look at this title. One Piece tier list strength ranked W tier list I promise. Alright, we gotta... We gotta... I mean, we gotta go with that then, right? Because he promised. He said, I promise. All One Piece characters. Holy shit. Does it have, like, Chocho and stuff in it? See, okay, time out. This is funny. This guy says literally all characters, but he's only got 425. So then what's this dude doing with all One Piece characters, and it's over 3x the amount? What the fuck is this guy on? Or is this guy pulling characters from other series that he thinks are in One Piece? Some of this stuff is just not accurate. All right, so we'll pick one in a second. Let's see. The fuck? This just doesn't seem like it has... Like, why do we have Mr. 4 in here? Does it actually have all the strong characters? I don't think so. I feel like there's no way this is all the strong characters, right? This just seems so fucking random. Like, why is Vanderdecken in here? I don't see anyone that's missing, though. I like this, because it's got the names in there. This seems like it's more strong characters. I like this. So this is the winner so far. And then... this one I feel like has got too much thought. I feel like this is the winner so far. I like this. I like this. We're gonna roll with this. We're gonna roll with this. Maybe it doesn't have everybody, but you know, it seems like it's got a good, good batch. How is Zoro not number one? Says Ismail. Yeah, I think Zoro's definitely post time skip. Zoro is definitely high. I think the Lucci scene knocked him down. I think if you remove prior to Lucci scene, Zoro is very very high. Post Lucci scene, post Huff Huff, I think he's dropped down a little bit. But the Lucci scene, again, it's not excusable because we know he didn't have Advanced Conquerors Hockey and stuff down. Okay, so let's just get into it. Wait, let's give it some tiers, all right? Nah, I think we can go with the S, A, B, C, D route. It should be fine, right? S, A, B, C, D. Is that Vista first law? Vista did actually aura farm pretty hard with the Mihawk situation. I think Vista's A. I think Vista's A. What do people think? Okay, we've all gonna go ahead and put in D. I think the moment we got his design, it was just a joke. Warcury, I think, is actually pretty high. I think, has Warcury ever looked bad? I think Warcury is actually pretty high. What are we putting Vista in? Or Warcury? Warcury. I think Warcury is B at the lowest. I think Warcury is actually pretty high up there. Vista go handle Roger. Vista go handle Prime Joy Boy. Yeah, that's the thing though. Like the fact that actually, like, I know it's a meme obviously, but the fact that it's just a thing that technically you could say it. It's not the craziest thing in the world. Yeah, Warcury A? Yeah, like, Warcury... Like, okay, look, some of the Gorosei have no aura at this point. Like, fucking Jupiter, let's find his bum ass. Where's Jupiter at? Yeah, let's go ahead and put Jupiter... Let's put him in, like... He's not, like, a D, but he's definitely, like, a C. Or something like that. Like, the Gorosei vary in terms of aura, but I think Warcury has generally retained his aura. Fuck, is this gonna have Garling? It might not have Garling. I don't know if it'll have Garling. Okay, we'll see if it has Garling or not later. We'll check that out later. Okay. Who's who? I don't know. Like D? I don't think who's who ever had aura. X Drake, D, Zoro. I think Zoro might be an S tier aura farmer. I think Zoro's an S. Like post time skip, they got Zoro and Zoro. Maybe this is pre time skip Zoro or something like that. I don't know. Oh no, it's still Zoro. This guy just likes Zoro a lot. Whoever made this list, I think Zoro is an S tier aura farmer because if you look through post time skip, it was actually insane how Zoro was being treated for a lot of post time skip. Because like Fishman, like the first arc begins, his first moment post time skip is him cutting the ship in half and then arising at the surface and dropping some quote about like curse fate for your bad luck that it had you run into me or something. Like his first moment post time skip is more aura than most characters in One Piece. And then from then on, like the next thing he beats Hordy underwater, and then he beats Monet without even attacking her. And then during the Dressrosa climax, Zoro was literally sleeping while they were riding up Pika, I'm pretty sure. I think he was sleeping, and then he just like destroys Pika, treats him like a joke. I think it's a long time. It's let me think. I think, and then he masters Enma and stuff, and everybody's like sucking him off when he masters Enma. Like even fucking Sanji for some reason, it's like, oh my god, Zoro mastered Enma. It's like, Sanji, have some pride. You shouldn't care about that. Rooftop, extreme aura farming. Even Kaido and Big Mom are on his dick. They're like, oh my god, how is he able to do this shit? King fight takes some away because Zoro's finally getting slapped around during the king fight. But then he comes away with I'm the king of hell to nobody, right? He's not even talking to anybody. He's just talking to himself, saying I'm the king of hell. I think Egghead is the first point where it's like, okay, now he finally looked bad. So I think overall, I think he's an S tier aura farmer. All right. Zoro's bounty poster is already aura farming. What more could we ask? Yeah, I think Oda went too hard in that direction post-time skip. Pre-time skip, Zoro felt more like, you know, he was obviously a serious character, but Oda felt fine, like, making him the butt of jokes in moments. And, I mean, that's not like that doesn't happen. It's just, it's less. It feels like he takes himself very seriously now. All right, continuing on. Yamato. Yamato is no aura. Anyone who goes around yelling that they're Odin, no aura. Yasop. I think Yasop's got aura. I think we're all excited to see Yasop. And the way he just put down what do you call? Bartholomew's crew? I think Zebek, obviously we got the recent chapter where he went all hard eyes and everything like that, so Zebek looked a little goofy. But I think prior to that, everything that we'd seen of Zebek had people just like fucking going crazy. From his introduction to his old lore with like him like showing up to the flower room and threatening Emu, and then like after having killed an admiral, and then him leaving and destroying the gates of justice, all the Navy backfights, gathering the crew. Like I think Zebek is in there as an S tier aura farmer. Tom says more Zoro tried aura farming in his last moment in Little Garden. Yeah, literally his final moments in life, he was trying to aura farm. He was like, I'm gonna make a pose. Okay, Luffy. Oh, I see. This guy did it in forms. So I don't think Luffy's really an aura farmer in that sense. I think he's B, you know? Like, especially the Nika form is not really like that. But Luffy has his moments, you know? Like, when he grabbed Kizaru and Saturn, right? And then he dropped that line about like, I'm not gonna let you go. That's a pretty badass moment. Is this fucking Zephyr? Why is he here? It's been too long since I've seen Film Z. I saw it on, I don't know. I just don't think he has that much aura because he like fucking lost to Luffy. Obviously this isn't a power scaling list, but like he looked really cool initially and then he just didn't. So I don't know what to say about this dude exactly. For a moment, it was like, oh shit, Zephyr's the shit. I just don't even want to. I don't want to include Zephyr. Let's take him off the list. That is Z, right? I'm not crazy. Put Luffy in A tier. I just don't. I guess, yeah. You know what? He has pretty cool moments. He does have cool enough moments. I think Luffy in A makes sense. I would agree. Bartolomeo, I don't think Bartolomeo ever tries to have aura. Bartolomeo has some moments where he looks pretty badass, though. I'm just gonna put Bartolomeo in D. He's kind of a gag character. Kaido, I think Kaido's still S tier, despite what I said. This is none of the tiers are ranked, right? I think Kaido's still S tier in terms of aura. Best introduction ever. Um, Even though he, like, we saw his goofy drunk side as time went on, I think still we would still agree Kaido probably goes in terms of into S tier in terms of aura, right? Let's get the Streamlights out of 50 real quick. I'll just do a quick poll for Kaido, but I think it's accurate. Zephyr slander is Sanji slander? Why? Please make a new tier for Weevil. I think that's fair. Here, let's make a new tier for Weevil. Let's make a new tier for Weevil. That was funny. We could do that. Here we go. Weevil, yeah. Yeah, I think that fits. I'm sure once we see Weevil fight, that'll change things, but right now he just looks like a goofy dude that got captured by the worst admiral. Grizzly Adams, thanks for the 5. If Oda actually let other characters comment on and gas up the fact that Zoro cut Kaido instead of no one giving a crap, he might be top 1. Yeah, I think that part of it is that at the end of the day, you can't have... At no point does Oda ever want Zoro to outshine Luffy, and that chapter was dangerously close because I think it's very notable that the chapter that Zoro basically does seemingly a Conqueror's Haki, advanced Conqueror's Haki move on Kaido, Oda doesn't just let that be a Zoro chapter. He makes it so that it's a chapter where Zoro does it, but then also Luffy starts using advanced Conqueror's Haki right afterwards, so that it's not like there's like a moment in the story where it's like, oh shit, has Zoro progressed past Luffy? So I think that's part of it, in that ultimately Oda wanted to... I just think that one of Oda's issues, in my opinion, not issues, it's not an issue, I think it's part of what makes One Piece One Piece, but I do think that Oda is damn attached to, like, too attached to just always having Luffy be the star at the end of the day, which can be a detriment at points, from letting other characters have their time to shine. Like, it's just, I think it's reflected in, like, One Piece does so many things amazingly well in terms of its world building and its cast of characters, but I think where most people would agree that it didn't do the hottest was, like, the concept of rivals for Luffy, the supernovas, because at the end of the day, you knew that Oda, you could tell, in retrospect, Oda's heart was never in it. He didn't actually want to write in a cast of characters that were legitimate rivals for Luffy. He just liked the idea of it, but not actually committing to it, right? Which is why we've got Kid at the bottom of the sea floor right now, and Law sailing around with a fucking polar bear as his only crewmate. So I think that's like a tricky thing. And I think, like, that's even reflected if Oda has a quote before the first One Piece popularity poll came out, that he's saying that he was worried that Shanks or Zoro would be more popular than Luffy, meaning that he is very cognizant. I think some authors don't give a fuck. Like, I think some authors are like, oh, Naruto's the most popular, Sasuke's the most popular. Like, I think a lot of authors just don't care. But Oda is very, very cognizant of, like, he wants Luffy to be the star of everything. He wants Luffy to be the face of One Piece, yada, yada. So, like, even in what is essentially Zoro's biggest shining feat moment in the story so far, and something that the entire Wano arc built up to, which was scarring Kaido, first person since Odin, I don't think Oda wanted to let that breathe for a moment. I think he wanted to basically be like, Zoro did it, and now Luffy's going to do it. And that's not even to say that Oda did Zoro dirty over the course of the rooftop. I think that's impossible to say. Zoro in the rooftop looked like a fucking god. He had basically the best feats out of all the supernova there, but ultimately, like, in his final capping moment, like the moment to cap it all, which was scarring Kaido, Oda ultimately made that chapter more of a Luffy highlight chapter even than a Zoro highlight chapter, which I think is just not... I just don't think that's the best idea, because if you're gonna build up to that moment so much, right, like, about the significance of, like it's the moment that confirms Zoro has Conqueror's Haki. It confirms what Ashura is, Zoro's most mysterious ability so far. it is the moment that Zoro achieves the feat that had been built up over the course of the Wano arc, which was like a swordsman, a fighter actually scarring the invincible Kaido. It was a culmination of so much. Like, even the entire Scabbards fight against Kaido right before that was to establish that the Scabbards, even all together, couldn't scar Kaido. Like, that was a big deal. Like, they all did their big combo attack, and Kaido was like, nope, that's still not enough to scar me like Odin did. It can't even open up the old wound, yada yada. So, like, this was something that had been building and building in the story. So for a moment as significant as that, you want that to be pretty much the spotlight of a chapter. Like, make that be the climax of something, right? And then next chapter, maybe like draw some attention to it, let it breathe, let that be the highlight, and then next chapter, let Luffy then take the reins from there, and then just start using Advanced Conqueror's Haki like straight up. And now it's like, oh shit, now Luffy can just use this freely, right? I don't think it was the best decision to just make that chapter a 2-for-1, because it's like ultimately the moment I really do think that it comes from Oda's hesitance to let it feel like a character has outshone Luffy for any period of time, like even a single chapter, basically, because that moment, just with the amount of narrative build up to it, should have been a bigger moment and should have concluded its own chapter before then having Luffy steal the thunder. It's just weird that Oda immediately had Luffy steal the thunder of what essentially was Zoro's biggest moment in the entire arc. I think that, and it kind of makes it retroactively feel like that wasn't the biggest moment for him, like, even though it really was. So, I don't know. That's my thought. Okay. Henchman976 said, did Luffy learn Advanced Conqueror from watching Zoro? No, I got the sense that he got it from essentially being hit by Kaido a couple times. Maybe even seeing it from Zoro like confirmed it or something, but I don't think that's really implied. Like, maybe in headcanon, I don't know. Okay, continuing on. Aokiji. I think Aokiji's got aura. Like, him standing over Doflamingo, great moment. I think at the same time, like, I'm always going to say that Aokiji just did not look good during the Garp fight at all, considering Garp basically treated him as, like, a little kid that he was scolding while he was handling the entire Blackbeard pirates, plus having to put his body on the line as a meat shield to continuously save his subordinates. So, I'd put Aokiji in A. Apu, E. Ashura, I guess you can go here. He had aura when he was first introduced, but not since then. This dude, I don't fucking know. I'll put him in D, because I think I'd still be excited if he showed up. Ace. I think Ace at one point felt like the character really carried aura. By the end, we'd seen him take a lot of punishment, though. Akainu. I don't think Akainu's an aura farmer. I think maybe at one point he was, but I think at this point the joke is him sitting behind his desk and just being like grumpy old man, like, I can't do anything because I'm just fucking stuck. Like, the amount of times Akainu has commented basically saying, like, I can't do this or that, or don't do this or that because we don't have jurisdiction, or the Marines don't have the manpower, or like at what point does he... Akainu is C, B? Here, maybe B. Like, Marineford Akainu, totally different. I'd say Akainu hit max aura when he was first revealed to be Fleet Admiral by Jinbei. When we learned about that, it was just like, aw shit, everyone's excited for Akainu, right? And then the more we got to see him post-time skip, like the first time we see him post-time skip is the Gorosei, him being like throwing a tantrum to the Gorosei, like, why do we have to do this shit? And they're like, shut up, Akainu. And then in future times, it's like, hey, Akainu, should I go over and stop the stuff in Wano? It's like, no, we don't know about the samurai. Or like he's yelling at Fujitora about something, and Fujitora's like, go fuck yourself. Or like he's coming in when Sengoku's talking about Wano, and he's like, enough of that, Sengoku, because we just don't have the manpower. Like, there's not been a time so far in post-time skip. Again, this stuff is not about strength. We know Akainu's very strong, but there's not been a time post-time skip so far that it's felt like Akainu is that dude that he doesn't have the same energy he did before. I'm sure he will once he's out of the desk, but I don't think right now. All right. Uh, I'll give him A or B. I don't think he's below. I think he's either one of those. It's tricky because is this an aura tier list or aura farming tier list? Can somebody explain to me how both of those? Because I don't think he farms aura at this point. I don't think he does. Like, I think every time he's been shown in the story recently, it's been the reverse of farming aura. It's like, oh, is it kind of going to do something? He's like, no, actually, rule number 53 of the Marine Handbook says we're not allowed to do this. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep him in B. I'm gonna keep him in B. I think he's fine there. Also, let's get stream likes up to 100 real quick. Crocodile. I think Crocodile is A, maybe S tier. Where's Crocodile? Where's Crocodile going? Yeah, he has high aura farm potential. Like, go back to pre-time skip, that's all he was doing. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put Cavendish in, I don't know, C? Burgess. I'm going to go ahead and put Burgess in D. Caesar, I'm going to put in E. Boa is pretty high. I'd say Boa is maybe A. Dark Dragon X7, thanks to the 5. I'm really interested to see how Akainu handles the world government accepting Blackbeard deal to be a king. I mean, I've been of the opinion for some time that like there is going to be a period that get your votes in for the crocodile situation because it's very tight. Yeah, I'm of the opinion that there's gonna come a time where the the Akainu basically breaks bonds with the world government, where he's no longer gonna. I think he's been stewing. I think as certain things happen, he's gonna reach a point where he's like, "Fuck the Celestial Dragons. This isn't true justice. His justice," and I think he's gonna split ways. I dropped a video on that sometime back. All right. Yeah, you guys got to get your votes in. Get your votes in. This one really, really matters because it's literally 50-50 right now. Brook is low-key a bit of an aura farmer. He's become that as of late. I think Brook is low-key. I think Brook low-key is like A. I think he's got his moments. We'll get to Brook shortly. Grizzly Adams, thanks for the 5. Maybe if Oda had Luffy say that seeing Zoro do it helped it click for him. What's worse is that no one commented on it after Kaido went downstairs. Yeah. From the people of Wano's perspective, nobody ever scarred Kaido again. So that's kind of sucks. All right, I'll give it 5 more seconds for the crocodile vote. So get your votes in. 10 more seconds. Brook Boa should drop to B. Yeah, because I think the Blackbeard scene wasn't a good look. Not just because she got caught, but just her response afterwards seemed like she was really shook. I don't think Boa's S though. We can do a vote for Boa. All right, it looks like Blackbeard is just about. Oh no, it's tight again. It's really tight. I'll give it some more time. Let's get 100 votes. Put your votes in for Crocodile. It's actually still back, like, on the edge. Bullet. I actually don't fucking remember Bullet that way. I don't want to rate movie characters. Tornado says on my phone it says stream started 6 minutes ago. Yeah, my bad. I had to shift the stream times around a little bit. I know it's not the usual stream time, but just in terms of getting shit done, today was pretty tight. Yeah. It's not the usual schedule, so sorry about that. Black Sheep W says the noodle guy who fought Sanji should be an F plus aura. You're talking about Wanze? All right, it's the votes still keep coming in on the crocodile situation. So I don't feel confident just calling it. I'll give it. So it looks like the votes have paused at 105 votes. Let's see if it gets to 106. Or sorry, 110. If it gets to 100. Yeah, it's close to 110. Yeah, we might just keep Crocodile in A. What about Brook though? I feel like Brook. What about Brook? Basim El Madawi thanks for the 2. Katakuri aura farming is built into his character. Yeah, Katakuri's gonna rank high. I think Brook is low key pretty high. Brook has some good moments. I think Brook is either A or B. He's not S, but he's either A or B. Even just the fact that it turned out that he knows, like, he's got history with the Gods Knights and shit that we just learned, like, that's a pretty big deal. Thomas Davis, thanks for the 5. Hey, Moore, did you see my comment on your most recent Yonko podcast? If so, what did you think? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look, man. Give me a second. Brook B. I'm not putting Brook below B, though. He's got moments. He's got his moments. I think Brook aura farms quite a bit for how weak of a character he is. I think he aura farms quite a bit. Ben Beckman. This has got to be an S tier aura farmer, right? Like, right? At least A. Where are we putting Ben? I went ahead and put Big Mom in D tier. I think most would agree. I think in terms of relative to your strength as a character, Big Mom has done the most to nuke her aura by far. In terms of relative to her strength as a character. So Thomas Davis said, I don't think the Whitebeard Scar thing is a retcon, just more like Garling being retrofitted into the story from it. I genuinely don't think Oda planned Garling into that point in the story, though. In that same conversation with Whitebeard, Shanks says his hometown is in West Blue, which we know fully at this point to be a false statement, but I don't blame Oda for retconning something that harmless. Oh shit! That is a really good point. That's a very good point. I forgot about the West Blue thing. I felt like Oda would have planned the Shanks backstory from the get-go, because Oda's talked about many times how important of a character Shanks is, and how much Shanks is Oda's other baby aside from Luffy. But the West Blue line is huge. That is insane. People don't even talk about that much. That's very interesting. Do you guys think that Oda planned Shanks to be a Celestial Dragon before? Umair with a really good question. Thanks for the 2. Yo, Morge, how you been? Thoughts on the Sekiro anime? Thank you for bringing that up. Sekiro will always hold a very, very special place in my heart because it is the first From Software game that I ever played. But more importantly, it was like the first video game, like single-player video game I played, like that wasn't a Nintendo game, ever. So for me, it was like going from 0 to 100. Because when I was younger, again, my parents didn't really give me game consoles and stuff. So like, I had Zelda games once I hit when I was younger, and I played them in high school. And in college, I went on and played Majora's Mask. Played like Mario Galaxy at one point. So I had single player games, obviously, that I played, but I wasn't like a huge single player game player. And then like some years passed. I'd really only played those Nintendo games, and then at some point I just felt like it was a period of time that I was super busy, shit ton of work, just like drowning in work, and I needed some sort of mental outlet that wasn't multiplayer, because like before that I would play like Melee Online and everything like that, but that's not a fun outlet because like you're competing against other people, which is like so much fun when you're into it. But if you just want to relax and just have like, just like not have to deal with, the sense of competition or whatever, because competition's so much fun when you are in the mood for it, right? But if you're just trying to unwind at the end of a long day of like work, I realized I wanted a single player game. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not a single player game person, but let me get one. And I never thought I'd be one of those people that plays like Dark Souls games and things like that. Never ever. But I was looking online. I figured like I don't want anything that's puzzle solvy. I don't want anything like that. Like I don't want anything that's too much. Like I really just want something at the end of the day where I can hit things with a sword. So I was like, I just want a sword fighting game. That's like a sword fighting single player game. That's all I thought. So I looked up just like what are the best games that have sword combat. That's it. Best single player games with sword combat. I wanted something clean, simple, action, not too much thought. And Sekiro was the top choice across the board. I did not know that Sekiro was a FromSoft game. I didn't even know about the whole concept of FromSoft. I knew of the Dark Souls series and like Elden Ring and how serious all that like high level difficult gameplay and stuff like that was. But I did not know that Sekiro was part of that whole subgenre of games. I didn't know it was made by the same people as Dark Souls, etc. And I didn't know that it was actually considered harder than most of those games. So I picked up Sekiro blind. I did realize as I started playing it, seeing what people were saying online also, like that it is one of those really hard games. So then that gave me the right mentality that it is supposed to be really difficult and I'm not just sucking because I just suck. But playing Sekiro first felt so good, and it just put me down the rabbit hole of then, like, after I beat Sekiro, I was like, oh, now I want to do Dark Souls. Now I want to do Dark Souls 3. And then I had to take a break because I realized it was cutting into my productivity, so I just didn't touch Elden Ring or something. And then last year I played Bloodborne, and now I want to play Elden Ring. Anyway, love Sekiro. Will always have a very special place in my heart. I think it is no longer it's not my favorite of the Souls games. But it is like, it's hard to explain. It's like, I think Bloodborne is my favorite Souls game, for sure. And my favorite single player game ever, probably. I really like Tears of the Kingdom too. It's complicated. Different, whatever. Apples and oranges. But at least from FromSoft games, Bloodborne's my favorite. Sekiro might be second. I don't know. Maybe that and Dark Souls 3 competing. They're good at different things. But Sekiro will always be like something special for its own, for the simple fact that it's what got me into it. So I have a very, very sort of special sort of place. And I've said this multiple times now, right? Special place in my heart for Sekiro. It's not my favorite anymore, but it's it unlocks some very core memories for me. So there were actually rumors of a Sekiro anime coming, because I checked the subreddit stuff and stuff like that. There was some leaks about a Sekiro anime supposedly being in the works, and people said that those were fake. It was unconfirmed. I think this was like last year, maybe in the last 2 years. But I was excited by it. I was like, oh shit, Sekiro anime. I was never actually that interested in the concept of a Sekiro anime necessarily. My hope, the reason I got excited, was because if a Sekiro anime comes out, then hopefully if it's popular, that could lead to a sequel to Sekiro. That's what I was invested in. I was like, if they're doing more with the IP, then maybe there's another Sekiro game in the works. Because Sekiro's style of combat is just my favorite out of all the FromSoft games. I think most people who've played Sekiro kind of agree. And one of the things that I've heard about Elden Ring is that it's got a tier. It's got like an ability that can allow you to play the game like Sekiro. I know that as soon as I play Elden Ring, I'm just going to look up how to find that ability, and then I'm going to treat all of Elden Ring like Sekiro. So I'm already planning. That's how badly I want to experience Sekiro's combat again. So I'm already planning on when I do my first playthrough of Elden Ring, I'm going to do it with the Sekiro ability or whatever, because that just seems like a lot of fun to me. Anyway, long story short, the Sekiro anime trailer, I saw the trailer. I think Sekiro lends itself well to an anime. It could. I think the action is the main draw. So as long as it has good action. I saw people really upset about like the AI and everything like that. The thing is, I guess for me, while I definitely support obviously the like actually hand drawing animation and everything, I'm not somebody that knows so much about animation. Like I've heard that there's already tools that are used to assist in hand drawing animation and everything, so I don't know where the lines are actually exact or blurred or whatever, and I think that sometimes people just hear AI and they freak out, so I don't know about that. My thing with the Sekiro anime is that I don't think that it has the strongest story. I don't think Sekiro's like it's an amazing action game, but at the end of the day, like how do I explain this? because I think it's just a cool thing to exist, and I don't think it's going to be like one of the great animes of all time or whatever. Um, I'm down. Like, I don't care if it has AI, just because like I'm not very invested in the concept of Sekiro as an anime. So it's just like if it's just going to be some flashy colors and fighting and stuff like that, I'm okay watching that just because I want to watch that. That's it. If like a series that I cared about or something like that, like One Piece turned into all AI or something like that, or Chainsaw Man or whatever, then that'd be like a whole different thing. But to me, it's just like I don't consider the upcoming Sekiro anime to be like a serious anime, if that makes sense. It's just like from my perspective, if it's just something that like if it wouldn't exist otherwise, right? So my view is like either there's no Sekiro anime or there's just like a Sekiro anime that exists as a novelty that's created by AI or something. I'm okay with there being a Sekiro anime that exists as a novelty that's made out of AI, right? I prefer that over nothing. I don't think Sekiro lends itself to such a great anime that like you'd want some high budget extreme effort studio whatever behind it or something. To me it's just like it can exist as its own little novelty thing. I'll probably watch the episodes or whatever, but I'm not expecting great things. Does that make sense? To me it's like if this can only exist through AI, then I'm okay with it existing through AI. That's basically it. Anyway, just because I just don't view it as like a high, like it's not going to be some it was never going to be some big masterpiece or something in the first place. Does that make sense? Like if the only way that something like this, like an offhand novelty game anime or something like this can exist is if a studio just wraps it up with some AI or whatever, then I don't mind that, because I would rather that exist than not exist. Like I don't expect any studio to put in a shit ton of effort for a Sekiro anime. So it's like, do you get what I'm saying? Like if it's AI makes it or it just doesn't exist, I'm like, okay, fuck it, let AI make it. That's my thought. Okay, anyway, continuing on. Virgo actually had a ton of aura in the Punk Hazard arc until Law cut him up. Uruj, I think Uruj low-key has aura right now because he's such a mystery. Van Augur, S tier. Low-key the most aura out of any Blackbeard pirates, including Blackbeard himself. Vasco Shot, E tier. Looks like a fucking bum every time. Stussy, B. Suru, A. Suru's never looked bad. Ulti, I think, sure, middle of the road. Smoker, his aura's taken a hit. Because he acts so cool, he should have high aura, but I feel like I'm going to keep him in this tier. I'll keep him in this tier. Smoothie, D. I think low level Shanks, I think minor characters I'm just not going to rank. Forget it. Shanks, I think, is absolute S tier. Oda exclusively uses him for aura farming. He doesn't use him for anything else. Ben Beckman, people said has to go in A? Okay, I guess we can put Ben Beckman in A. Maybe he hasn't done enough for that. Shiki, I think Shiki's good. I think Shiki's a B. Shiryu, after he got, like, no-diffed by Garp, I've got to put him in C. Shanks again. I'll just put this up there just because it's a cooler image of Shanks, but that's, there's no reason that Shanks needs to be here multiple times. Sentamaru, D. Sengoku. Now that we've seen young Sengoku, I don't know how I feel about him. Oh shit, I got some others to catch up on. Thomas, thanks for the 5. Imu will dominate reverse Akainu for power up and Imu to control the Marines. Oh shit, I really hope that doesn't happen to Akainu. I feel like that'd be a shame if that happened to his character. But just the fact that Imu could dominate reverse Herald means that I don't think there's a limit. Unless we learn that Herald was very weakened at that time. He may be sick or something. Anime only Benji, thanks for the 5. Morge, what's up? Have you played Elden Ring yet? And what you think? I've not played Elden Ring yet. I know I'm saving Elden Ring for when I have a phase in my life where I feel like I'm not busy. Does that make sense? Because I just know it's going to eat up so much of my time. It's a personal favorite game of all time for me, and hey to me watching this in the future. I appreciate the messages from the future. Yeah, Elden Ring, I definitely am looking forward to playing it. Again, I've already thought about it. I'm like, because it's funny because I've heard so many amazing things about Elden Ring, and then the only critique that I've heard that's recurring about Elden Ring is that the bosses are, as people say, overtuned. So the bosses are like they can be a little bit too their move sets are too long or something like that, so you don't get to feel like it's as interactive. That's one of the critiques I've heard because all you can really do is roll. So you got to roll a lot, wait your turn, and then hit and everything. That's what I've heard. So people have an issue with basically the bosses being pushed too far to the point where they're no longer fun. Um, and I'm gonna avoid that issue because for me it's a beautiful 2-for-1 because what I've wanted to do is play a Sekiro style game again, and I've heard that there's a Sekiro ability in Elden Ring that allows you to play like Sekiro and therefore take on the bosses in a more direct format. So for me, it's beautiful because like I'll get to experience like the very complex bosses of Elden Ring, but I'll get to approach it with the playstyle of Sekiro. Whereas it seems like a lot of people had the issue that rolling wasn't that fun of a way to engage with the Elden Ring bosses. So I'm very excited to play Elden Ring. I've already mapped out in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna play with the Sekiro style. It'll be a lot of fun. Um, Sengoku's shitting himself to a dying Newgate is peak aura loss. Yeah, that's true. Okay, maybe Sengoku should be... Where are we putting Sengoku? Henchme976, thanks for the 2. Give us a simp tier list next. We have so many now. Okay, so there'll be one tier that's just Sanji. And then it's like... then beyond that, it's just... I don't know. I think then there's some big gaps. I don't think Brooke's a simp. Okay, it looks like we'll keep Sengoku in B. We'll put No, actually, we'll put him in C. We'll put him in C. Let's put him in C. I think Sengoku's a fitting C. Yeah, I don't think aura when I see Sengoku. Prime Sengoku being on here multiple times. All right, let's see. Sasaki. I don't know, fucking E. Saturn. Saturn had a lot of aura initially, and then we learned that he just can't fight at all. So that makes it tricky. I think Saturn's here. I think he has more aura than Jupiter, but maybe B. He was a very intimidating presence. It's just he literally could not fight. Sai, I don't know. D. Sanji. Sanji, when he tries to have aura, has some of the best aura moments in the series. When he actually like puts his foot down, and tries to have aura. It's just that he has so many. I think Sanji might have the highest ratio of like extreme aura loss moments. Not ratio. Ratio is the long term. I think the highest combination of both aura loss, extreme aura loss moments, and extreme aura farming moments. I think he's got both ends of the spectrum really locked down. I think post time skip for a long time it's skewed towards the aura loss moments. Like pre time skip, I would say that Oda wrote a lot of really memorable aura farming moments for Sanji. And then the moments where he lost aura, he almost even didn't lose. I don't think he really had like really bad aura loss moments pre time skip because like we all understood it was just like a simple gag. Like it's just kind of silly. Like he goes hard eyes or whatever. So you kind of just rolled with it. And then the things that are memorable are like Mr. Prince, thanks for the light. You know, I'm the hunter. Things like that. Like pre-time skip, he probably aura farmed more than Zoro. The problem is that post-time skip, I don't think Sanji's had as many of those cool moments. And then Oda took now a lot of the really memorable like aura loss moments as they say are like related to his gag, like the fucking nosebleed situation, even just fucking last arc Egghead where he became a dog, which the anime obviously played up a bunch, so like the anime doesn't help, but like he's like, I'll be your dog. Like it's just damn right. It's just downright like cringe shit. So it's very complicated. He still has cool moments like the S Shark. I don't know, like yeah, that's the thing. Pre-time skip. That's actually, that kind of is Sanji in a nutshell. In that pre-time skip, he was like almost this notorious aura farmer. Like, even just minor shit like him saying bingo is fucking cool, or him like being like, I'm taking the C train mission by myself. You just had so many, like he was just like a highlight reel of cool moments. Um, and then it was balanced out by him having a gag, but the gag wasn't obtrusive. It's just like a silly thing that he also does. And then post time skip, it's just like, where is that dude gone? Yeah, welcome to the shitty restaurant. Yeah. Sanji on Fishman Island. Sanji on Fishman Island was almost killing his character. It literally almost killed his character through through cringe. Very literally, that's what happened. Sanji's gag was entertaining pre-time skip because it was simple. It was like, it wasn't anything extreme. It wasn't like anything too far out of his. So the concept of Sanji early on is that Sanji actually is that cool. He's a twist on a concept, okay? So we've all seen like the cool James Bond suave type character in so many movies and shows, and even in anime there's like shows have like the cool kind of stoic like um smooth genius type character or whatever, right? Like that's a common thing you see in anime, right? Sanji is that guy, but Oda has his own little twist added into it, which is that like he will suddenly turn into an idiot around women. That's the twist. So like the character normally is supposed to be this really smooth operator, very sharp, very strong, very capable, competent, like a sort of like a hidden ace. He's like the ace of the Straw Hats in a sense. Not this character Ace, but I'm saying like in terms of how he operates. He's like a solo, independent, like goes on his solo missions, does cool, daring things like that. And he really is like this slick operator. That's the concept, but it's One Piece, so like there's a funny twist to it, which is that like as cool as this character is, he just turns into an absolute idiot, simp, dumbass when it comes to ladies. That's the fun of the character. You're seeing both ends of the extreme. Post time skip, it's just like Oda took the gag that's supposed to be like the thing that adds a fun little twist to the character, and then made the gag the thing that really fucking stands out. And then he also took away a lot of Sanji's. He stopped writing as many of those really cool moments, like traditionally cool moments for Sanji. And that's what changes the character quite a bit. Oh, stream crashed? How? What the fuck? This is on Ethernet. It should still be live. It should still be live. I think it should still be okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on your guys' end, but from my end, it's still running. Because we're on Ethernet right now. It says it's still going. Yeah, just refresh the stream. Just refresh the stream. Sorry about that, guys. Um, yeah, where are we doing Sanji? Let's do a vote for Sanji. I think Sanji is disqualified from S, but he's disqualified from S. But I don't think he's like C. So he's either A or B. Actually, he might be C. I think let's do the full range. I'll give you guys all the options. It looks like it's gonna average out to B. Looks like it's gonna average out to B. Yeah, it looks like at least 60-ish% of people have it. Close to 60% of people have it like, or no, more than 60% of people have it B or lower. So go ahead and put Sanji in B. Ryuma is not a real fucking character, so we're gonna move him down. We already have Aokiji and Akainu and shit. Okay. Sabo. I think Sabo's like a B. Robin. I think Robin's like a B. Obviously, her Demonio form and the way that she can get can be really cool, but like on average, she's not like that. And then lots of times she's just like she's not that good against. She can kind of be taken out by strong, like she's scared of the Saturn situation or things like that, right? Or she's hiding in Saul's hair. So that's not big knocks, but I don't think that puts her like in A necessarily. A characters have a much cleaner resume. Roger, I think Roger's still S. I think when you see Prime Roger, it still feels like S. I know that we're seeing young Roger right now, and he's looking like a goofball, but I think that I still think Roger, like the Roger that we saw in Odin's flashback, that's what I judge him by, and I think that's still S. You know? Her base aura is low. I can put her in C. Yeah, I think Roger's still S. Yeah, Roger's still S. Um, Green Bull, E. Garp, I think. I feel like Garp's A or S, right? I just think Garp is also. I don't know. Garp is. We see a lot of him, and it's hard to explain, but we see a lot of him in many situations and stuff. So like, it's not. I don't think it has the same quite gravitas seeing Garp as it does seeing Roger. But I could put Garp in S. Yeah. Him saying "Hold me back, otherwise I'll kill Akainu" is still one of the coolest moments to me. Whitebeard, yeah, Whitebeard, Prime Whitebeard had S tier aura. Queen, I don't think. I think Rayleigh is an S tier aura farmer. I think Rayleigh's in there. I think Rayleigh has crazy aura. Big Mom. Well, we already covered Big Mom. I'm not gonna do Prime and all of that stuff. Pedro. Pedro doesn't really have aura. He doesn't have negative aura, but he's just whatever. Perospero is low-key pretty intimidating. I'll put Perospero in C. Like, not intimidating, but he can be a creepy type character. Whitebeard A? Yeah, no, Whitebeard, no scars on his back. Yeah, good point. Let's get the stream lights up to 100 real quick. Avalo Pizarro, put in E. We already covered Whitebeard. Weirdest stream ever? I don't know why. Are you talking about the buffering or the topic? It should not be buffering. I'm sorry about that. Really should not be buffering because it's got Ethernet in. It seems like everything's going fine on my end. I'm sorry about that, guys. Let me close this. Maybe that helps a little bit. I don't know. That's really strange. Normally, if I have Ethernet in, there's never an issue. You guys want to refresh? Yeah, let's see. Okay, Oven, I'd say Oven is like D. Page 1, I'd say E. We're not going to rank randoms. Odin. How do you guys feel like about Odin? Salim says Pizarro's farming for aura but didn't get his aura. Yeah. Odin. Odin has no aura? I don't know. I don't know about that. I think Odin has aura. It's just not. It's just questionable. It ebbs and flows in moments. Yeah, page one, I just put him way at the bottom. Uh, so this is tricky. Some people have him very low. Some people have him pretty high. It looks like at least 60% of people want him here. Let me just do A versus B. For Odin, we'll do A or B. I think Odin, we see such a spectrum of him as a character in terms of how he's portrayed that it's hard, like, it's genuine. Like, we only get him for so long, and he runs the full spectrum. Like, his opening, intro, and everything gives him crazy aura. But then the more we see of him, he's kind of like goofy and a little dumb and makes lots of mistakes and seems incompetent. And then he seems cool when he's trying to clashing with Whitebeard, but then he gets like slapped by Roger and stuff like that. And then he seems incompetent in dances for a long time, obviously. But then he seems cool against Kaido again, but then gets tricked by Momonosuke. And then he ends with boiling. So it's really all over the place with Odin. I'm going to go and I'll put him in A. I think he's not consistent enough to be S. Garling. I think Garling right now is an S tier aura farm. Like, the moment he's had so few moments. When he came in and just told the Gorosei, like, I'm the new Gorosei, I think that's one of the coolest moments in recent time, right? Like, that was just a peak aura farming moment, and right now he's always looked pretty badass. Morley. I don't think Morley has much aura, but he's strong. I'll just put him in D. Nekomamushi and Urashi. I don't know about them. I think they did have aura when they were introduced. Now I just put them in D or C. Venus Juro. I think Venus Juro might be S tier in aura. S or A. Garling pulling up on the Gorosei was peak aura. Yeah. Yeah, I think Venus Juro, out of the OG Gorosei, Venus Juro just feels like the most badass in a sense. Not the strongest, but he's just got that vibe. I could put Venus Juro in S. I can put him there. Momonga. Momonga, Loki has pretty good aura for just being a vice admiral. Obviously, Garp is just a vice admiral and Suru, but it's not the same. Momonga is just a normal vice admiral. I say as far as normal vice admirals go, I think Momonga is pretty high. Like, he's a cool vice admiral. Momonosuke. I think the moment he was introduced as an adult was peak aura farming. It was like a full chapter dedicated to it. But on average, he's kind of like a silly little kid. I'll actually put him in C. I'll put him in C. Because, like, he had that really cool chapter. His introduction as an adult in that design was really good. Moria. D. Mihawk, I think easy S, right? He's introduced, like, just from his introduction alone, that's peak aura farming. I think the problem is obviously, like, I think in later chapters, like, the whole Vista situation did him no favors. And then I think it doesn't help that he was stressed when they're talking about going after the One Piece and stuff. But I think Mihawk definitely belongs in S, right? Momonga is A. I don't think Momonga is A. Venus Juro also has the coolest transformation. Yeah, I agree. I think Mars is pretty high in terms of aura, too. I would put Mars here. I think Mars is high. Mars is pretty cool to me. I think Mars has like the second coolest transformation. Covered Zoro. Magellan. I'm gonna put Magellan in B. Marco. I think Marco is A tier aura. I think he pretty much always looks pretty cool. He's not like next level cool, if that makes sense, like these characters are kind of portrayed as, but Marco he looks pretty cool. It's rare that Oda makes Marco look bad. I think it honestly almost never happens. Lucci had so much aura until Egghead, and then Egghead he just went through like some humiliations, you know. I'd say Lucci he's been sucked out of some aura, but I think he still lands here in C tier. Lucky Roo, I feel like we haven't seen enough of this character. I'm just not gonna rank him. Like at least Ben, I don't think he even gets dialogue really. Like at least Ben Beckman gets dialogue. Luffy, we got. I never look at Lindbergh and think that guy's badass. I'm gonna put him in D. Kuma. I think Kuma is B. I think Kuma's B. Law is actually a great aura farmer. Law is A or S, right?